So my name is Deirdre O'Shea. I am Professor of Work and Organisational Psychology at the University of Limerick. I am a Chartered Work and Organisational Psychologist and a Fellow of the Psychological Society of Ireland. And at the moment, I currently serve as General Secretary for the Executive Committee of the European Association of Work and Organisational Psychology, which is the European association that represents that area, work and organisational psychology across Europe. So I am interested in two broad areas. The first is work motivation, and the second one is occupational health psychology. And really what that is about is I'm interested in why people work, what drives them in their work, why are they motivated to perform well, and also how do they stay well in the workplace. And specifically within that, I have had a long held interest in the area of self-regulation. And that really is about how we self-manage ourselves in the workplace. That includes how we manage our behaviours at work, but also how we manage our emotions, for example, and also how we manage things like our decision making, our goals, and also our motivation. One of the reasons that I've been interested in self-regulation so long is because it has actually been identified as one of the key factors that psychology has investigated, which has relevance across the entire range of human functioning. So people who self-regulate themselves better tend to stay better in terms of their mental health and well-being. They tend to perform better in the workplace, but also in a broad range of areas, also in terms of health behaviours, in terms of, for example, sporting endeavours and so on. For the area of my PhD, I focused on a group of entrepreneurs. And the reason I was interested in looking at self-regulation in that group is because they don't have a boss, for example, and they have to self-manage themselves. And when you set up a new business, it's really, really important that you understand your goals, you understand what you need your business to achieve, but you can also manage the worry, the anxiety, how to get yourself up in the morning to keep going, maybe when it feels like the business setup is going slowly. So I've been interested in that for a very long period of time. Since then, I have looked at self-regulation, not just in entrepreneurs, but also in broader workplace contexts. And I have looked at how self-regulation is important for a whole host of workplace behaviours. For example, looking at things like silence and voice in the workplace, looking at proactivity and how it relates to taking initiative in the workplace, and then also looking at how self-regulation can relate to our broader well-being in the workplace. I've also recently looked at the interpersonal aspects of self-regulation, and more specifically how we regulate others. So for example, how a manager might regulate the emotions of an employee, maybe if things didn't go right in their job and so on. So for the last 15 years, what I've been trying to do is move from understanding self-regulation and the impact that it has for workers to trying to create interventions so that we can train workers in self-regulation. And we have been doing this in various different ways. What we try to do is create a little moment in people's day where they can practice these skills so that over time it becomes a habit that they integrate into their daily lives or their daily working lives at least. So some of the things we have looked at and evaluated in terms of these daily short interventions are things like how people can savour some of the positive things that happen in their day, but also if negative things happen to them, that they can reappraise those types of things. We've also looked at things like mindfulness, which is really about the self-regulation of attention. And one of the most recent projects that we have been engaged in has been in collaboration with the Federal Institute for Occupational Safety and Health in Germany. And there we have designed a 3-week online intervention where we train workers in self-regulation skills by doing daily exercise over 3 weeks. We have done a study in Germany and we have also done a study in Ireland where we test this. And what we find is that the intervention does indeed improve self-regulation skills, which is very important to be able to show. But we also see that workers who engage in this 3-week online intervention have better self-efficacy or belief in their ability to manage their work. And they also have higher or better work-life balance, lower work-life conflict, and their performance on a daily basis also improves. So as we move towards more hybrid workers and more flexible working patterns, the need to be able to self-regulate ourselves and self-manage our work becomes ever more important. So the EU estimates that there are about 42 million workers across the EU who are engaged in either hybrid work or flexible work of some form. So we need evidence-based interventions that we know are effective, which can help employees to manage this new types of working environments where there's greater autonomy, there's less direct management of employees, and to ensure that these types of working environments can keep employees performing well, but also ensure that their health and well-being and mental health are managed as well. And that becomes ever more important as, for example, there are new ISO standards with regard to ensuring that workplaces integrate psychosocial health and well-being management so that we reduce psychosocial risks and ensure that workplaces are designed in a way that workers can thrive. So self-regulation is not just important in workplace contexts. There's a lot of research to show that it's also important in health context and in medical contexts. And I'm really excited that we're just about to start a new interdisciplinary research project called SHIELD, or Strategic Health Initiatives for Effective Disease Prevention, which is a pan-European project funded by the Horizon Europe or the EU. And what this project is about is it's going to take or use the power of AI, artificial intelligence, to first of all create a way of identifying who is at risk for developing things like diabetes or cardiovascular health disease. And then it's going to develop a suite of self-monitoring tools and behavioural interventions to help patients who are at risk or currently dealing with or managing these types of diseases. Our role in Limerick will be to really use the science behind motivation and the science behind behaviour change techniques to develop behavioural interventions that will help people to actually maintain their behaviour change over time. We know that behaviour change is really, really difficult. And so what we're hoping is that using all the science that we have from motivation, from interventions and how we change behaviour, that we can really create a platform and an app that people can use, which will help them to successfully maintain their behaviour changes and their lifetime changes, their lifestyle changes over time, which will help them to manage their diseases better.